Word on the street is the best thing to come out of last year motoring-wise was Ford's wonderful little Puma. With its race car handling and snappy gear change, the motoring press fell all over it and gave it their highest accolades. And so they should, because I'm enjoying every minute of this. Unlike Jeff Bailey. Like the Puma, Jeff has sprinted his way to the top of his business tree. But he finds this little car just isn't big enough to carry him and his fat cat pals around.
I'm Jeff, and I'm selling this gorgeous Puma for £14,500. And I reckon it's a bargain, but let's see what happens. I think the Puma is very much like a fitness instructor. You know, they've got their running shoes on, skin-tight pants, not an ounce of fat. I wouldn't say it encourages sedate driving, but then again that defeats the object, doesn't it? What's my reason for selling this Puma? Well, basically I need a bit more room. Getting 4 burly businessmen in this is a bit of a joke, really. I think I've had in the order of 63 cars since I started driving. I have a Ferrari 348 and I have a Rolls Royce. You can see by the sort of cars I buy that I'm a go-for-it merchant. If I could describe myself as a car, I'd probably say that I'd be a Jaguar XKR, you know, the supercharged 370 horsepower sports car, because that's what I feel like. I feel supercharged.
Now, I'm a big fan of these little cars, even if they are based largely on the humble Ford Fiesta. They're also one of the most modern cars we've featured on Deals on Wheels, so there's no point in spending lots of time looking for rust. But it is a good idea to do your HPI check and to check for any accident damage. And one other thought, whenever you see one of these advertised in the colour you want, then snap it up, because demand far outstrips supply.
If you're chasing a 1.7 Puma, the chances are these big guys are going to be pretty chewed up, and it's really easy to check for tyre wear. Just rub your hands around the wall of the tyre and feel for any bumps. And take a 10p coin, and you see the little ridge around the outside? Well, that should fall within the tyre tread. If it doesn't, you'll be forking out for new tyres, and they cost £80 a corner.
Well, I think Jeff is onto a winner with this. The car's absolutely the right colour, it's got all the bits, it's in really good condition. It's got to be worth £14,000.
No, Richard, I think he's a bit strapped for cash, and that Ferrari's burning a big hole in his pocket. I bet you he only gets £13,750. Let's see how he gets on.
I've taken a call on the car, and there's someone coming to have a look at it today. I've had a couple of tyre kickers who are absolute total waste of time, but this guy sounds serious.
Hi, I'm Pete. I'm come to see Jeff's Puma today. I'm going to buy it for my wife. Hopefully I can get it for a reasonable price. I think I'll probably start around and offer him, he's asking 14.5, I'll probably start around 13.5.
I'm not going to take any less than 14 for it, because it's a good seller and I'm going to play hardball. Pete Smith?
Hello, how are you?
What's that?
Pleased to meet you. What a horrible day. Thank you very much. I've got a bigger one than this in the car. So why are you getting rid of it?
Well, I've got this, and I've got a Ferrari, which I'm also getting rid of. Really, I don't need all these cars.
I can't sell you a TVR, can I?
The trouble is, you probably could.
I'll take it for a blast up the road.
Yeah, sure. I'll drive, and then we'll swap over, and
yeah, sure.
You're insured on it as any driver.
Okay.
You do have a licence, though.
So have you ever actually carried sort of 4 adults in it? Yeah, presumably you've got to push the seat fairly well forward. Or...
Yeah, I think they all came from Lilliput.
Jeff wants £14,500. Let's see how he does.
Change of underwear type. Well, I'd be prepared to offer you 13.5 cash for it today.
Well, cash is the same as a cheque to me. No, £1,000 drop is far too...
Everybody asks more than they actually want for it. What would be your sort of...
Well, the thing is, I've tried to price it as keenly as possible, mainly because I didn't want the thing to take root and just sit here asking silly money.
Right.
So 14.5 is basically, as far as I can see, midway between trade and retail. but I just can't take 13.5. I mean, quite frankly, the minimum I take is 14.
Right.
I can't afford to take that.
13,750.
No, can't do it. Can't do it, Pete. Can't do it.
Well, I could get hung if I don't come back with it. I don't want to give in too easily. What about 13.9?
For 100 quid, I'm not going to lose a deal for 100 quid. Okay. Well, I feel pretty good. I've done a deal. I wasn't going to lose it for £100, so getting 13.9 instead of 14, yeah, I'm pretty cool about that.
Bingo! I almost got it right. Interesting point though, it was raining, and how many times have I got to tell you, don't buy a car in the rain. If you have to, take a lever along. That way you can wipe away the water and see any of the nasty marks underneath.
Now for one of my all-time favourite cars, and a very underrated one. It's fast, it's stylish, it's the Triumph Stag. Triumph Stags have a special place in the hearts of patriotic car enthusiasts. 30-somethings like me will remember it as the car they wish their dad had have picked them up from school in. And those a bit older will remember it as a car that perhaps they couldn't afford at the time, but that was so damn classy. In fact, Triumph were the BMW of the 70s, and the Stag was its flagship. 4-seater and 2+2-seater convertibles were very rare things in the 1970s, and the Stag was brilliantly marketed as a kind of Mercedes SL, but cheaper. But the Stag was also more macho than the Mercedes, with its Italian styling and its wonderful V8 engine that made the most terrific noise, especially when you put your foot down. Although the V8 turned out to be the Achilles heel of the Stag, largely because Leyland, who owned Triumph, just didn't develop it properly, it did give the car good performance. 0 to 60 in 9.7 seconds and a top speed of 116 miles an hour gives the Stag more than enough performance to be used in modern traffic. Now, as regular Deals on Wheels viewers know, body rust and chassis corrosion is the big headache for classic car buyers. Well, for once, this isn't the case with the Triumph Stag. This body is very well made, it's very thick, and unless the car's very cheap, rust really shouldn't be a problem. The reason most Triumph Stag engines have played up in the past is because they've overheated. And the reason they overheat is because they build up sludge inside them. Now, you don't want your Stag to suffer from overheating problems, so take it for a very good test drive and watch that temperature gauge like a hawk. Try and get stuck in some traffic. If it gets into the red, leave the car well alone, because the chances are the damage has already been done. So what to pay? Well, Mark I Stags are cheapest, but I wouldn't spend less than £3,500 on one of these because it's just not worth it. This example, it's already going a bit rusty, the colours don't match, it's a bit of an edgy car, but I think it's worth just that, about £3,500. Now, Mark IIs are worth a bit more, but this car is an automatic version which brings the price down again. Having said that, its condition is better than the Mark Is. All things considered, I think it's worth £3,900. Now, if you want a really good Triumph Stag, you're going to have to pay more than that. This is a very well restored Mark II car, manual overdrive gearbox. It's worth £10,000. And that's as much as you need pay for a superb example of Triumph's last great model. And just in case you think £10,000 is a lot of money, just think what you can do with this car. Imagine taking it abroad on holiday, touring Italy, the Italian mountains with the kids in the back. Wonderful! And I challenge anyone to think of another classic car that can provide that for anything like the money.
Do you know what, Rich? I think I can almost remember one of these. Very Simon Templar.
Actually, Mike, that was a Volvo. Join us after the break for a Golf VR6.
And we'll be meeting Graham McNulty, who's trying to flog a very tired-looking Citroen BX.
See you then. Traditionally, Citroens have been eccentric, advanced and really rather brilliant, but they haven't always been that popular in England. The BX is perhaps the exception to that rule. That's because, although it seems lightly constructed, it's actually a very strong car, it's very economical, it's very reliable, it's supremely comfortable, and actually very refined, if little noisy. Well, Graham McNutty isn't a convert. He's a self-confessed 70s throwback, and for him the BX is, well, it's just too modern. So it's on the muck.
My name is Graham McNulty from Scotland. I'm 19 years old and I'm selling a Citroen BX 1984 for between £250 and £300, and I hope to get that for it, so I'll see how my haggling skills are. The fact that it's so different and kind of individual, it makes you feel that way yourself. The 70s were great. I think it's just gone down ever since because they had totally different fashion and a lot of technology and stuff was coming in, and the cars were great as well because they were on the peak of being old-fashioned, the chrome and that, but they were sort of modern shaped. Yeah, I've got 3 pairs of flares, kind of black work trousers. These are my kind of early 80s, late 70s ones. And then there's ones I got on. These are my everyday kind of scruffy ones, but I like them that way. I would say that the car is a cheap to run family car, but it's got lots of technology in it, like hydraulics and power brakes, and great kind of styling on the inside for the dashboard with its paddle switches and things like that. I think it's a lot of car for the money.
Skybox fantastic, baby.
I'm selling this Citroen because I've got mine a specific one from the 70s, and that's why it has to go, because this maybe doesn't fit into the retro image as much as the real 70s car will. So I'm just improving my image, I think.
Love them or hate them, Citroen BXs were incredibly popular during the 1980s, so you really shouldn't have any problem finding one if you want one. Now, in typical Citroen style, they're packed full of innovative features, including plastic and fiberglass body panels, so rust shouldn't be a problem.
The Citroen BX has the very famous hydronomic suspension system. Now, while this is generally quite reliable, if it gets out of line, it can be an absolute nightmare to fix. Now, a way to test if the system works is to pop the bonnet, get underneath and find a big green reservoir down by the driver's side. Get yourself one of these, a nice big syringe, and draw off some of the fluid. It should be a nice sparkly green, a bit like fairy liquid. If it's not, and it's brown like this one, it will need changing. If it's any other colour, like a milky grey, run for those hills.
Having said that I like these cars, Graham's is a total mess. He's breaking all the rules when selling a car. It's probably still filthy. I bet the ashtrays are still full. I can't give him more than £100 for it.
No matter how hard you polish or clean that car, you're still going to end up with rips in the seats and the headlining. Now, in my opinion, I want money to take it away, but it is worth something. It's worth its weight down the scrapyard. And that's a pony, £25.
So let's see how he gets on.
We had a wee bit of good news actually. Someone phoned about the car and they seemed quite interested in it. So they're going to come up hopefully today, and we'll meet the guy and see if he likes it.
Hi, I'm Stuart from East Kilbride. I've come through to look at the Citroen BX Graham's selling, which I'm hoping to buy.
That's him. How you doing? Graham. Right, well there it is. Okay. Right, there's a wee dent on the door, which, I don't know, it's not too bad, but it does need a new clutch, which is why it's down to 250, but that's negotiable.
Okay.
If you like.
How many miles has it done?
It's done 86,000. I've tried to give it a wee clean, so. We'll take it for a wee spin, if you like. Take a wee spin, see how it feels.
Do you mind if I drive? See what it's like.
So, what do you think? Is it up to you?
Great big car, very comfortable. Ideal car for running about in.
Graham would accept 250 quid for that dirty looking Citroen. Let's see how he gets on.
Let's go inside where it's nice and warm.
Car runs good, like the way it feels. It's good handling on the road.
It's very appealing, isn't it?
But how much was it you're selling it for?
Would you say to 250?
No, I'm not happy with 250 because of the clutch.
The clutch is going to come into it.
200.
Right, aye, okay then. 200.
Great.
200, it's a
Right.
deal. Excellent, well hope it goes well for him. I've got the £200 to go towards the new car. But I'm sorry to see it go, you know that. I really am. Well,
50 quid to change a clutch, he must be doing the job himself. Still, Graham did a belter of a deal, and it just goes to show you can sell almost anything to anybody if you sound convincing enough. And I was closer than you, mate.
You were just lucky, Rich. Right, now for the expert. Last week you saw me buy this wonderful Golf VR6. This week my challenge is to turn it into a profit. Let's see the maestro at work. Last week I bought this Golf VR6. Now if I want to sell this on and make it into a tidy profit, I need to clean it up and get it looking pucker. So I bought it for 9,800 quid. But to sell it on for my asking price of £10,500, it needs a bit of elbow grease to show off her charms. First stop, a performance car garage up north, who've seen my advert and said that they're interested. I'm on my way to meet a guy called Keith, who phoned up. He's got this big car yard. He's interested in the VR6. Let's see if I can have a deal with him, eh? First impressions?
It seems a level car. What I would like to do is take it for a quick spin.
No problem at all.
Just round the block.
No problem at all.
And bung it up on a ramp and inside just to let the
Yeah,
guys have
it's
a quick
fine.
look
Yeah,
underneath
that's a good idea. Do you think this will work? All right, mate. How you doing? Sometimes.
No leaks or anything. It's the right sort of car to use.
It's all one car, isn't it?
Yeah. Either that or a very good welder.
Okay.
Right.
What's that? You don't need a book.
This is the horrible book.
No, you don't need a book. The only two books you need is logbook and checkbook.
So they say, so they say. I reckon that your car, as it stands, is worth about 9,250, which would be the trade price of the car at the moment. Somewhere between 9,250 and 9,500.
Down south, that car's going to mark up at least 11,995. Up here, I know it's probably a different story.
It's a different market. I see it £1,000 less than that.
Yeah, what, 10,995?
On the pitch there.
Well, it's still 1,200 quid out of it.
I don't see your car at that figure at all. I'm willing to come a wee bit if you are, probably to about 9,400, and that's.
I think we're just that too far apart.
I can't. My boss would go, if I was paying into book for these sorts of cars, it would be. It's
not the end of the world. Don't worry, I'm not going to go and hang myself somewhere. There's always somebody else.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is.
Thank you very much.
No problem at all.
Cheers, Keith.
Cheers, thank you.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
Well, he was a tough cookie. Listen, if you set yourself a bottom line, stick to it. Don't give in. I'll sell that VR6 yet. You mark my words. So I've had the car in the papers for a few weeks, and I've had a call, very interested call, from a guy in Cumbria. Unfortunately, he can't come to me. And when you're desperate and need to sell your car, be prepared to travel. And that's exactly what I'm doing now. He has to work in the area. And as they say, if mountain won't come to Muhammad, then Muhammad must go to the mountain. Hi Lee. Mike Brewer. How you doing? Brought the car down to show you. But is that what you're looking for?
Well, I've just saw my car,
Yeah.
Cavalier Turbo. I was after a Golf GTI VR6, something like that. I'll just get a second opinion.
No problem at all, yeah.
On the car.
You've got a friend of yours who...
Yeah.
Yeah? No problem at all. First impressions?
It's a nice smooth ride. Cheers.
I'm glad you know these roads. So, what do you want to do?
Right, you can negotiate a price.
Well, my starting price is at 10.5 grand. I've priced it quite competitively, knowing that I can't be too greedy, obviously, and I just need to sell it, obviously, to turn over a small profit.
Yeah. 9.5. That's all.
I can't do it at 9.5. I haven't.
I mean, there's a few VR6s for sale. Average. I haven't just seen.
I don't think you're going to find one as nice a condition as that, with the history as it is.
Yeah.
Because remember, you haven't got to spend money on the alarm system; it's already in the car.
Yeah. But most of them have.
Most of them have,
90%.
but you know, you ain't going to find one. I don't think that's quite as tidy as that. It's been well looked after. It's got a good set of tyres on it. It's not as if you're going to buy it and you've got to go and spend a few £100 tidying it up. It needs nothing doing to it, really. I can let you have the car for money back, because I wouldn't want to be seen to take too much.
What do you mean for money back?
Money back, exactly the same money that I paid for it. And that's the cheapest I can let the car go for, is £9,800. And if you can't match it, then we're just wasting each other's time. If you want to hold a hand out and have a deal with me, that's it. I can't.
Yeah.
I'll be making myself look a fool if I was to accept a penny less than that.
Yeah. Right. It's just a case of
borrowing £300 from somebody.
Basically.
I'll trust you for a cheque. How about that?
A cheque?
I'll trust you for a cheque for the extra.
Right. See who's got a cheque. Right. The money's inside. If
yeah, you want to have that deal? Well done. Let's do the nitty-gritty bit first.
you'd like to count that?
I would, very much. I like the smell of it. So I sold it for £9,800, and I bought it for £9,800, so there's no profit. However, it's a difficult market to sell cars in at the minute, and I'm really quite pleased because he's a nice guy and I know he's going to look after it. But at least I've got a bag of money. I may be tempted to buy something to go home with.
All the way to Cumbria just to get back what you paid for the car. You, my boy, are losing your touch.
Absolutely not, Richard. I have to admit that he did strike a hard bargain, but it has to be said, it immediately puts you on the back foot if you're travelling a long way to do a deal. Let's face it, you don't want to take the car home with you.
Well, join us next week for more hard-nosed haggling.
And some more real deals. We'll see you then.
Now, I'm worried about you.
Don't be worried.
No, it's happening
Don't be
too
worried.
often.
You've still got all that profit out of the M3 that I made, and you can spend that with you.
A Channel 4 book, Deals on Wheels by James Ruppert, is available in the shops, price £7.99. Or you can call the 24-hour Channel 4 Books order line on 01 624 844 444. Calls are charged at the national rate.